Have you ever experienced a situation where your friends become your family? It's a beautiful feeling, but what happens when betrayal enters the picture? This is the story of a trio of friends, often referred to as the Wolf Pack. Excited about their future until one day, love turned into hate. A dark turn, their once happy home becomes the center of a mysterious and disturbing case. The roller coaster ride of lies and deceit was something no one could comprehend. The question remains, what happened to Delano Wingfield and Leon Young, and what happens when love becomes fatal?
These three friends were more than just roommates.
They were like brothers. You could never pull them apart.
They had like an unbreakable bond.
But behind closed doors, trouble was brewing.
That's when the experimenting started.
Doing a certain drug can change people.
And it would boil over in the most horrifying way.
They discovered a shallow grave.
There were repeated blows from blunt force trauma.
There's blood splattered throughout the house.
It's up to detectives to determine what triggered the bloodshed and who's to blame.
He said it was self-defense.
He killed them in cold blood.
There was something deeper, that secret that was being kept from me.
Who do I believe?
It caught me so blindsided how crazy everything got.
June 8th, 2014. It's Sunday afternoon in Shaw, a bustling neighborhood in the heart of Washington, D.C.
It's this neighborhood that's like a lot of neighborhoods in Washington, going through gentrification.
It was definitely the hot spot to be.
There's like a bunch of clubs and like hookah lounges.
The neighborhood's also full of young people. And Bernadette White has come looking for one of them. Her 23-year-old grandson, Delano Wingfield.
She was very close to her grandson.
But she hadn't heard from Delano in more than a week, which was unusual.
When she didn't hear from Delano, she went over his house just to see how her grandson was doing.
When she knocks on the door, it isn't her grandson who answers. It's one of his roommates, 21-year-old Jeffrey Neal.
Hey, Sway, how you doing?
Hey, Jeffrey.
Delano lived with Jeffrey and their friend Leon Young.
Have you seen Delano? I've been trying to get a hold of him.
She was starting to get a little concerned.
But what Jeffrey says next does little to ease her fears.
Jeffrey told her that he actually was worried. He hadn't heard from Delano and neither had Leon.
How long?
Maybe since last weekend.
Last weekend?
Delano Wingfield, Jeffrey Neal, and Leon Young had known each other since their freshman year at DC's McKinley Technical High School.
McKinley Tech attracted some of the most intellectual, talented kids. And these three young men, they were bright.
All three shined academically, but struggled socially.
They may not necessarily fit in with the jocks, with the popular kids.
They were super into anime. They were super into swords, video games. That was their niche, the nerdy fantasy kids.
They kind of lived to a beat of their own drum.
The three friends dubbed themselves the Wolf Pack. Jeffrey was the alpha wolf.
He was very caring. He seemed to want to make sure everyone was enjoying themselves.
Leon was the fun one.
He was very uplifting, like a joy to be around.
He was the one that could make everyone laugh.
And Delano was the quiet one.
He's a very reclusive guy, just like drawing back and just paying attention to everything.
He was very peaceful, very chill. He was a really sweet person.
Over time, the Wolf Pack became more than friends. They became a family.
They became close. They became brothers.
The families cared about each other. Jeffrey's mom would take the wolf pack on ski trips, beach trips, and they would share the holidays together.
They were inseparable.
They even figured out a way to remain together after high school, with a generous assist from Jeffrey's grandmother.
When Jeffrey graduated, I don't know why, but his grandmother gave the house to him.
That house had been in their family for years.
We had this whole house to himself, and he let his friends stay there. It was like extra rooms, and they could help pay for rent.
It was a beautiful dynamic for a young male. Honestly, you can get out, be on your own, and be free, and still have the security blanket of, my grandma owns this, so I don't really have to deal with all of the ramifications that come with dealing with the actual landlord and things of that nature. So it was a pretty ideal situation.
It was close to restaurants and shops and food markets and everything outdoors that you wanted to do. It was definitely the hot spot to be.
Once Leon and Delano moved in, the modest townhouse became a full-fledged bachelor pad.
It was pretty like frat type house. From being honest, like, I mean, it was a house of single guys. People were in and out, going to work, coming back. Maybe you're tired, you don't clean up the room or the living room or the kitchen. Like, it happens.
To pay the bills, Jeffrey and his friends found work waiting tables or washing dishes in area restaurants.
None of them seemed interested in like college or anything.
The Wolfpack had other priorities.
Party never stopped.
When you're in that dynamic, 3 guys in their late teens, early 20s, any night could be a party if the right girl or guy calls. It's like, well, can I bring a friend? Or can I bring a friend? And it's 17 people in your house from one phone call.
It was an escape house for all of us. We were still young. We couldn't really go out to like bars and stuff. So whenever I wanted to do something like fun, I would be like, oh, let's go over to Jeffrey's house.
They had girls around all the time. There's a lot of dancing and gaming.
They sit up and play video games all night. They sit up and watch Japanese animation all night.
Always a lot of marijuana and alcohol. Just people coming and going all times of the night.
Jeffrey let me, because we were all artists, draw on the walls of his room. So his room just had all this like graffiti on it. It was cool. It was just like no rules. You could do anything.
It was this Peter Pan world where they never really had to grow up.
But now one of Neverland's lost boys is truly lost.
They had a relationship where they talked all the time. The grandmother and Dylan, they talked frequently. And all of a sudden, she was trying to call him and couldn't get to him.
And according to Jeffrey, he and Leon haven't heard from Delano either.
Do you think something could have happened to him?
I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
She believed something was wrong with her grandson.
She was going to file a missing persons report.
The disappearance of Delano Wingfield will pull back the curtain of a dangerous facade.
There was drama day in and day out.
He had odd behavior and violent behavior.
He had definite anger management issues.
And that became very dangerous.
The investigation reveals a tangled web of secrets and deceit. Stay tuned for the shocking conclusion when we return with more Fatal Attraction.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Since leaving high school, Delano Wingfield, Jeffrey Neal, and Leon Young had been living it up at a Washington, D.C. townhouse.
They turned that house into a party house. If you wanted a good time, you would come over.
We all kind of enjoyed like this freedom we didn't have before. It was pretty wild.
But at the beginning of June 2014, one of the 3 friends, 23-year-old Delano Wingfield, mysteriously disappeared.
Delano's grandmother hadn't heard from him in a long time, and it's just not normal for him.
When she dropped by the house to check on him, his roommate Jeffrey said he hadn't seen Delano in days.
And by June 12th, after another 72 hours with no further word from her grandson or Jeffrey Neal, Delano's grandmother files an official report with police.
There was a missing person report put out by Delano's grandmother.
She wants someone to help find her grandson.
Once the report is filed, officers perform a welfare check at the three friends' townhouse.
No one was home. No one answered the door. Police took a cursory look around. Nothing seemed amiss. So all they could do was just leave a card in the door.
Detectives also reach out to the families of both Jeffrey Neal and Leon Young.
No one they spoke to had any idea where Delano might have been.
However, Jeffrey's mother does give detectives some disturbing information, not about Delano, but about the third roommate, Leon Young.
Jeffrey's mom confessed to police that her son had been having a few issues with Leon.
What sort of issues?
Well, it's just Leon's got problems.
Jeffrey's mom went on to explain that Leon had had some mental issues in the past.
Do you think he's dangerous?
Based on what Jeffrey's told me, yes.
Jeffrey's mom explained to police that Leon could, on many occasions, become enraged and out of control and aggressive.
Leon even pulled a knife on Jeffrey once.
Really?
Leon was the biggest anime fan. Like, he took it all the way. He had like the knives and the swords and stuff.
Leon, in one of these rages, attacked Jeffrey with a knife.
What's your problem, bro? Put the knife down. No.
He went, as you say, just a little bit crazy. And Jeffrey had to end up disarming him.
I kept telling him to stay away from that boy, to kick him out, but Jeffrey would not listen.
To Jeffrey, it was okay. He didn't find anything to be worried about.
Jeffrey did not heed to the advice of his mother to put Leon out because Leon was acting so strange.
In light of this new information, detectives wonder if they're now searching for two lost boys instead of one.
Jeffrey's mom told police that it's been a few days since she heard from Jeffrey.
If you hear from Jeffrey, would you please let him know we are trying to reach him?
Oh, I will.
Jeffrey's mom told the police that she was a little worried herself.
Leon possibly could have harmed her son.
Detectives can't rule out the possibility either.
They definitely had a few red flags raised. Police asked Jeffrey's mom if she has a key to the Shaw residence. She says that she doesn't.
My brother has a key, though.
She said she'd call her brother and ask him to meet detectives at the house.
It's early evening when Jeffrey's uncle arrives at the townhouse.
As soon as he enters the house, he immediately is hit by the worst stench he's ever smelled.
Oh, Lord.
Sickened by the smell, Jeffrey's uncle waits outside for detectives, who arrive a few minutes later.
It smells awful in there.
Sir, would you mind to wait out here, please?
As soon as they're inside, detectives are sure they are dealing with a homicide.
They could tell the smell was coming from the attic. So they pulled down the stairs and they climbed into the attic.
There, hidden underneath an air mattress, detectives find the source of the odor.
There's a dead African-American, naked young man in the attic.
His face was covered in a plastic bag.
But police could not identify whose body it was.
The investigation reveals a tangled web of secrets and deceit. Stay tuned for the shocking conclusion when we return with more Fatal Attraction.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Detectives investigating the disappearance of 23-year-old Delano Wingfield have just found a dead body in the attic of the Washington, D.C. townhouse he shared with roommates Leon Young and Jeffrey Neal.
Detectives weren't sure if it was the missing man.
His face was covered in a plastic bag. He was completely nude.
This dead body looked to have been decomposing for a few days.
In the stifling attic, detectives carefully remove the plastic bag from the victim's head, but are unable to determine his identity.
There was severe blunt trauma to his head.
While the coroner's crew removes the body from the attic, detectives head downstairs.
They began looking for anything that might have linked to what happened in the attic.
They don't have to go far. Inside Leon's bedroom, detectives find a horrific scene.
Blood just everywhere. Obviously, this murder occurred here, in this room.
Detectives find more blood in Jeffrey's room.
Was this an argument and it went from one room to the next?
Finally, detectives find what they believe to be the murder weapon.
They found a bloody hammer. If somebody is wielding a hammer, that means blood is going to be splattering.
Alongside what detectives have learned from Jeffrey's mother, the clues at the scene suggest a possible scenario.
Maybe after Delano's grandmother came to visit, Jeffrey had confronted Leon about the disappearance and things turned violent.
Unsure of the dead man's identity and still unable to contact any of the three roommates, detectives begin digging into Leon's mental health history.
It was found that Leon had just been hospitalized just a few weeks ago.
Leon had been in the psych ward.
There was a diagnosis of him being homicidal in nature.
And not long after his release, Delano disappeared.
Detectives issue an APB for Leon Young.
Police are wondering, did he murder the man that was found in the attic?
Detectives still don't know just whose body was in the attic, but a surprise phone call the next day allows them to rule out one of the roommates.
Police get a call from Jeffrey's mother. She tells them that her son, Jeffrey, is indeed alive, and he wants to talk.
That afternoon, Jeffrey comes into the station.
Detectives sit down with him, and Jeffrey tells them, "I'm glad you've got your notebook."
Why is that? I got a story to tell y'all.
Jeffrey tells police that the body they found in the attic is that of Leon Young.
Leon? How do you know? Because I'm the one that killed him.
He said that it was self-defense.
According to Jeffrey, it had started as they suspected, after Delano's grandmother came by the house looking for him.
And he attacked you? No, not then.
Later that night, he walked past Leon's room. He saw Leon, stark naked, staring out the window.
According to Jeffrey, he was holding a knife, too.
Jeffrey thought he was having a mental health breakdown.
Leon, are you okay?
Jeffrey says when he asked Leon if he was okay, he turned around and blurted out something crazy.
Leon actually yelled to Jeffrey that he killed Delano.
What are you talking about? I killed Delano. I did it.
Jeffrey tried to take the knife.
Listen, man, give me the knife. No, give me the knife, man. Give me the...
According to Jeffrey, Leon lunged at him.
He got me right here.
We showed him where his hand had been cut by Leon.
He just kept coming at me.
Jeffrey knew he had to defend himself.
Jeffrey tells detectives that as he retreated, he noticed a hammer that Leon had left by the door.
When he felt the hammer, he grabbed it, he raised it, he swung it at Leon's head, and it just grazed Leon.
So you hit him again? Well, yeah.
That second time, it hit Leon. It struck him clear in the head, and it was forceful enough that Leon fell to the floor.
He said he hit him twice, 2 or 3 times.
But it was enough.
Leon! Leon!
Jeffrey bent down and shook Leon, and that's when Jeffrey knew Leon was dead.
However, after killing Leon, Jeffrey didn't call the police.
He panicked. It was self-defense, but he believed he had to do some jail time.
The only thing he could think to do was drag Leon's body to the attic.
So you put the bag over his head?
Yeah. He was bleeding very, very bad.
But other than that, he was completely naked?
Almost.
Jeffrey told detectives that when Leon confronted him, that he was completely nude except for a pair of socks.
Then, once the body was in the attic, Jeffrey had fled.
He grabbed Leon's keys and he jumped in Leon's car and just hit the highway with no destination.
Jeffrey says that as he drove south alone, he'd eventually come to his senses.
He knew he couldn't just leave his friend in the attic. He turned the car around. He went straight to his mom and asked if his mother could contact the police.
But one question remains.
Why would Leon kill Delano?
Well, it's complicated.
Jeffrey said that the wolf pack weren't just best friends.
There was a love triangle between the boys.
The investigation reveals a tangled web of secrets and deceit. Stay tuned for the shocking conclusion when we return with more Fatal Attraction.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here, made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
21-year-old Jeffrey Neal has just confessed to killing his roommate, Leon Young, whose body police found in the attic of his Washington, D.C. townhouse.
Jeffrey told the police that he killed Leon in self-defense.
Detectives have also been trying to locate the third person that lived in the house, 23-year-old Delano Wingfield. But Jeffrey's confession sheds light on his disappearance, too.
Jeffrey tells police that he killed Leon. After Leon admitted to killing Delano,
I killed Delano.
According to Jeffrey, the reason Leon supposedly killed Delano is even more jaw-dropping.
According to Jeffrey, there was a love triangle involving all 3 of the roommates.
Jealousy between these 3 lovers led to very hostile feelings.
Jeffrey tells detectives that the 3 friends, who'd called themselves the Wolf Pack, hadn't always been lovers.
That is so true.
The Wolf Pack in high school were all platonic. There were never any sexual contact.
But Jeffrey says that after a year of living together under the same roof, his friendship with Leon had evolved.
Well, me and Leon, we was just messing around.
Jeffrey tells police that they never set out to be in a relationship together, that it just grew over time.
I think that Leon probably saw it as a more serious relationship, whereas Jeffrey saw it as a casual thing.
Despite his reservations, Jeffrey says he did little to hide his relationship with Leon.
They would hold hands and walk together at times.
And Delano, what did he think about you and Leon?
He was cool with it.
However, Jeffrey does say that being in a relationship with Leon was a constant struggle.
Jeffrey painted this picture of a man who was struggling with his own mental illness and drug use.
He was angry and he could become aggressive.
Throughout Leon's downward spiral, Jeffrey says he'd stuck by his friend.
He believed in him and he just wanted Leon to be on his meds.
Jeffrey told detectives that Leon wouldn't always take his medication, so he kept getting worse.
It built over time. It was definitely subtle changes. He was not the person that just wanted to see people happy. To me, he wasn't himself anymore.
Jeffrey says that even he couldn't deny it after the incident with the knife.
Leon did pull a knife on Jeffrey, and Jeffrey did, in fact, disarm him.
It just became very, very scary.
After that incident, the relationship between Jeffrey and Leon got strained.
Jeffrey began to distance himself from Leon, and in doing so, that left the door open for him to lean more on Delano.
Eventually, they'd done more than talk.
Delano experimented with him, and they had sex.
Once again, Jeffrey said it was more of a friends with benefits situation.
He probably wasn't very serious about any relationship that went on in that house.
But according to Jeffrey, Leon saw things differently.
Jeffrey! There's always something I tell you. What, man? Calm down. Be cool. I know what's going on.
Leon was very controlling of Jeffrey. He didn't want Delano hanging out with his lover, Jeffrey.
Does that explain Delano's disappearance?
They had already found out about Leon's history of mental illness, and everything seemed to check out just as Jeffrey had said.
However, there are a few things about Jeffrey's story that don't quite add up for detectives.
They couldn't understand why there was blood in Jeffrey's bedroom.
Although, considering all of the blood in Leon's room, it was quite possible that Jeffrey had tracked it into his own room.
Jeffrey's description of Leon's body is also puzzling.
Jeffrey mentioned that Leon had been wearing socks, but when detectives found his body in the attic, he was barefoot.
For the moment, detectives are willing to overlook the inconsistencies.
Remember, this is a 21-year-old kid, and it just killed one of his best friends.
Everything seems, in their eyes, legit.
So that was enough for the police to let him go.
Really? I can go?
We'll be in touch.
And if you hear anything about Delano, you'll let me know, right?
He was very concerned Delano wasn't just his friend. Delano was also Jeffrey's lover.
You'll be one of the first people we contact.
But when detectives follow up with the Wolfpack's friends, they'll discover a secret about Jeffrey he'd rather have kept hidden.
Leon wasn't the only one in the group who lashed out in anger before.
No one ever suspected that either of them would have turned on the other.
He hit him and kept punching him.
The investigation reveals a tangled web of secrets and deceit. Stay tuned for the shocking conclusion when we return with more Fatal Attraction.
24 hours after police discovered Leon Young's bludgeoned body, his roommate and lover, Jeffrey Neal, has just confessed to killing Leon in self-defense.
Jeffrey told authorities that Leon came at him with a knife.
However, what happened to Jeffrey's other roommate and lover, 23-year-old Delano Wingfield, is less certain.
Jeffrey told detectives that Leon confessed to killing Delano shortly before his death.
Leon was jealous of this relationship that Jeffrey was also having with Delano.
Given Leon's history of mental illness, detectives suspect Jeffrey may be right.
You're free to go.
He had been let go after the initial interview by the police.
The next morning, hoping to corroborate what Jeffrey told them, detectives begin the grim task of reaching out to the trio's friends who were shocked by the news of Leon's death.
I didn't know what to think. It was devastating.
They were like close friends. I never seen that coming.
For some, the love triangle between the roommates is just as much of a shock.
I didn't know that they had a sexual relationship.
However, other friends aren't so surprised.
I picked up hints that they might have been, more than friends.
One friend actually walked in on Leon and Jeffrey having sex.
All of the trio's friends do share stories of Leon's odd behavior.
Leon was doing weird things like painting the wall black in his bedroom.
I witnessed the knife marks in the walls.
He was high-strung, easily irritated, easily agitated.
Friends tell detectives that Leon's drug use included PCP and only added to his instability.
PCP was one of the drugs that Leon allegedly used.
It made him different, made him lash out. Doing a certain drug can change your brain chemistry or your mood.
Friends had also seen signs of Leon's aggression toward Jeffrey.
When I saw Jeffrey, he had a black eye, apparently from Leon lashing out on him.
Another friend confirms Jeffrey's account of the previous incident, where Leon had come at Jeffrey with a knife.
He did see this one time when Leon pulled a knife on Jeffrey and tried to attack him.
Just give me the knife. Jeffrey was able to get the knife off of Leon.
However, the friend adds a new detail that Jeffrey had left out.
Leon was subdued, and Jeffrey at that point just went off on him and he started wailing on him.
He hit him and kept punching him.
According to some friends, the love triangle wasn't the only source of tension in the wolf pack.
When you live with someone, even though you love them, things start to bother you. Jeffrey, since he ran the house, felt like he wasn't being respected. People were trashing the house.
At the same time, Delano and Leon were often just as frustrated with Jeffrey.
So they were paying Jeffrey rent, but Jeffrey wasn't using the money to pay the bills. There was often times when, unfortunately, the utilities were cut off, and that was a source of frustration.
And the romantic tension between the three friends only turned up the heat.
You could tell that, this could get very bad. This could turn dark.
Tensions in the house had just gotten to a boiling point.
In fact, friends tell detectives that by the end of May, the wolf pack was on the verge of splitting up for good.
Last that I heard from Leon, he wanted to get his own place and just be independent.
Leon essentially felt like he could do better off by himself.
Friends say that Delano was also looking for an exit.
I'm not sure which direction he planned on going, but I know that it was a better one than Dan and Jeff's house.
Delano did not want to continue that lifestyle, just wanted to move on with his life.
After years of being the leader of the pack, Jeffrey was about to be the lone wolf.
Which left detectives wondering, could their potential plans to exit the wolf pack have played some role in Leon's death and in Delano's disappearance?
Even more questions arise when detectives get the results of Leon's autopsy.
The medical examiner confirmed that the body was indeed Leon's.
However, little else in the report backs up Jeffrey's story.
Jeffrey had told the police that he had struck Leon Young 2 to 3 times.
The medical examiner report showed that Leon had been struck in the head with a hammer as many as 25 to 30 times.
Detectives already had reports from friends about an incident where Leon had attacked Jeffrey with a knife, and Jeffrey managed to wrestle the knife away from Leon, but he still continued to punch him repeatedly.
Was it possible things had gotten similarly out of hand? Not according to the autopsy.
According to the medical examiner, Jeffrey likely killed Leon while he was sleeping.
Hitting someone as many as 30 times is not self-defense. That's murder.
But is Leon Jeffrey's only victim? On the morning of June 16th, detectives returned to the townhouse in Shaw.
While they are searching the house, in the backyard, they discover a shallow grave.
They find who they believe to be Delano Wingfield. There's blunt force trauma to the head, very similar to Leon's body.
But unlike Leon, Delano isn't entirely naked.
He was wearing socks.
And the police were like, wait a minute. He talked about Leon having on socks, but it turned out that Delano had on socks.
The investigation reveals a tangled web of secrets and deceit. Stay tuned for the shocking conclusion when we return with more Fatal Attraction.
On June 16, 2014, 4 days after police found Leon Young dead inside the Washington, D.C. townhouse he shared with Delano Wingfield and Jeffrey Neal, detectives have just made another gruesome discovery.
They find in a shallow grave in the backyard another young man's body.
Dental records confirm that the body is Delano, and the autopsy suggests he's been dead for some time.
Delano was killed 2 weeks before Leon.
Detectives believe Delano's cause of death may also suggest his killer's identity.
He died pretty much in the same fashion as Leon, with blunt force trauma to the head.
He, too, had been hit repeatedly, between 20 to 30 times.
But for detectives, the biggest red flag is a simple pair of socks.
When police found Delano's body, he was nude, but he was wearing socks.
Jeffrey told the detectives that when he killed Leon, Leon was wearing socks. So Leon's body was barefoot.
Had Jeffrey committed both murders and actually made the mistake of forgetting who wore the socks and who didn't?
That was enough for the police to charge him to both murders.
When detectives officially charged Jeffrey with both murders on June 17th, the news divides the Wolfpack's friends and families.
I don't know his reasoning, but from what I can gather, it had to be that. It had to be the lover scorn. I don't want this situation to change. He didn't want to lose that, and he was willing to kill for it.
Others remain convinced that Leon was the real danger.
From what I know about Leon, it's easy for me to believe Jeffrey.
When Jeffrey goes on trial in July of 2017, the prosecution downplays the fact that the three friends were also lovers.
Prosecutors decided to gloss over the whole love triangle.
Instead, the prosecution focuses on Jeffrey's role as leader of the Wolfpack.
It was Jeffrey's house, and so Jeffrey wanted to keep that control over his roommates. And what he was seeing was that his roommates were beginning to take control of their own lives.
But according to the prosecution, Jeffrey saw his friend's growth as an act of betrayal.
Jeffrey didn't want anybody to outgrow him or to leave a position where they were dependent on Jeffrey.
Leon and Delano was basically pulling away from this friendship. That's what prosecutors are saying drove Jeffrey into this violent rage.
Based on his autopsy, prosecutors believe Delano was Jeffrey's first victim.
Jeffrey killed Delano sometime near the end of May, although the exact circumstances weren't entirely clear.
It had to be a rage. It had to be like it's a blackout fit of rage.
After the murder, Jeffrey buried Delano's body in the backyard before cleaning up the crime scene.
Based on the DNA testing of the blood found inside the house, the prosecutors believed that Delano died in Jeffrey's room.
Jeffrey may have missed some blood, but prosecutors believe several days passed before Leon became suspicious.
When Leon started asking questions about Delano, he knew he had to do something.
He had to keep Leon from talking.
Jeffrey waited until Leon was asleep. He came in his room and he killed him in cold blood.
Then he'd stashed Leon's body in the attic and gone on the run.
The prosecutors theorized that once Jeffrey's money ran out, he ran back home and decided to bluff his way through this, claiming self-defense.
The things in the police interview, when he downplayed the number of times that he hit Leon, would seem to come back to haunt him at trial.
On top of Jeffrey's lies, the prosecution says the detail of Delano's socks suggests that Jeffrey also couldn't keep his murder straight.
Prosecution basically said that Jeffrey mixed up the two.
When it's the defense's turn, they claim that Leon is the true villain of this story.
The defense was that these two murders happened as a result of Leon in a jealous rage, that he is the one who killed Delano.
And according to the defense, Jeffrey was lucky not to suffer the same fate.
We believe that Leon attacked Jeffrey consistent with his odd behavior and violent behavior that he exhibited for years.
The defense said if he had not fought back, he would have been killed by Leon just as Leon killed Delano.
We talked about Leon's erratic behavior and mental health episodes.
But will that be enough to sway the jury?
They found Jeffrey Neal guilty of murder of both Leon and Delano. And he was eventually sentenced to more than 60 years in prison.
Today, the Wolfpack's friends remain divided on whether Jeffrey got what he deserved.
Honestly, justice doesn't tend to work a lot of times. So for justice to actually prevail this time, I do appreciate that.
I feel like they didn't really give his defense a chance. I feel like they just wanted to lock someone up for what happened to Delano, and they couldn't do it with Leon, so they did it to Jeffrey.
But no matter which side they believe, one thing is true. 3 bright futures, once linked in friendship, are now forever fused in tragedy.
They thought they had someone that would be there for them like another brother would. I don't think any of those 3 young men, when they first said hello to each other, set about to be in this position today.
It's really sad to know that friends can go this askew.
This gripping case has come to an end, leaving many with questions about why someone would deliberately turn on their chosen family. We may never know what happened between the friends, but we do know that Delano Wingfield and Leon Young are missed and will continue to live on in the memories of their loved ones. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
He was a hardworking immigrant, striving for a better life.
He was just a hardworking individual, took care of his mom, took care of his family.
With a new wife and baby at home, all his hard work was worth it.
He'd literally break his back just to make ends meet, to make her happy. The sky was the limit.
But it all comes crashing down.
They shot the guy 3 times in his house.
He was bleeding out.
In a busy city known for its high crime rates, Alicia Murray, a concerned wife, hears a disturbing noise at home and frantically calls for help for her husband. The mystery unfolds. What will the detectives uncover? What happened to Omar Murray? And what happens when love becomes fatal? Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.